Hi there, welcome to another episode of Soul Worthy Love, where we explore that love is safe, and if it's not safe, it's not love. In this mini-series, we are focusing more on couples, but if you're singles, these are things that, would be good for you to think about and know about, so when you face them, you'll be wiser for it. Why love feels hard even when you're with the right person. In this specific episode, the two core fears that sabotage every relationship until you're more conscious. Because subconsciously, secretly, we're afraid of one or two things in relationship. One, you're going to be abandoned, and the other one, you're going to be engulfed. And often, first I want to introduce you.
Yes.
My beautiful partner, Dr. Andrea Horta, who is going to bring her 2 cents here of her worth and wisdom and all the things she knows to this interesting conversation. So, what do you think of being engulfed and being abandoned?
Yeah, for sure. I think I've probably felt more the abandoned one. I think maybe it's one or the other. Being engulfed, I haven't really felt that, but being abandoned.
That's interesting because often a woman in a relationship feels she gives up on herself to fit herself for her partner.
Oh, is that the one being engulfed?
Yeah,
Okay,
so
maybe
engulf is abandoning yourself, like I'm losing myself because I have to give up on who I am to be able to keep this relationship.
I haven't looked at it that way. The relationships that I've been have been me over giving.
So that's being
to
engulfed.
Oh, okay. Because I was actually thinking the
But
reason
you come
why
from
I'm
that place
over giving
because you're
is
afraid
because
of
I'm afraid of
being
the abandonment.
abandoned.
So that's confusing. So maybe you can clarify that because so the scenario is me over giving, right? To make sure that I please them so that they get everything they need. I've lost myself. Now I get that. But at the same time, the reason why I'm over giving is because I'm afraid subconsciously that I'll be abandoned.
Exactly. And at the same time, women often will focus more on I was overgiving, I always overgive in a relationship, I always feel all drained after I end up in a relationship and I don't want to lose myself again. And now they go, I don't want a relationship.
Yeah.
When the real reason is not that, If you're starting to date another person, it's important to be honest right from the beginning. So you don't start patterns of, oh, I'm overgiving to you. And then you, after like 6 months, you're tired of this. Now you pull away. Now there's a big fight because now you got your partner ready to have this all the time. It's like you're changing the rules of engagement. So what's going on? Right. So have you experienced that? Overgiving, trying to find your place after.
Yeah, 100%. And then they get mad that you're not, paying attention to them as much or that you're doing your own thing. 100% when you take your power back, when you realize that it doesn't work that way.
So if you're in a long-term committed relationship, how do you deal with that? Like how do you go from overgiving because you're afraid of losing your partner to then taking back your energy? Now they feel like, oh, she stopped caring about me. She stopped loving me. How do you deal with that? How would you face that challenge?
I mean, right now, I see a lot of people, a lot of women, let's say, clients and patients that I've worked with, that will say that they're resentful and burnt out because they've been doing everything for so long. Being in the masculine, doing everything for them, for the household, for the kids. So that for sure I know is happening. But in terms of how to deal with it, the number one thing that I ask over and over again is like, first be honest with yourself. Like what aspects are you doing in this? Like what are you doing? Or where are you over giving and then getting resenting them for it? Because it's really you.
It's
right?
really you, exactly. And it always comes, like I mentioned before, if you listen to the previous episode, is that at the core of all challenges is the illusion that we are unworthy of love. So when we feel that we are unworthy of love, then we overgive, or the opposite is I'm not going to give because I don't want to be depleted. So I'm just going to make sure that I keep everything for myself. So that creates challenges. But Also, what ends up happening, especially when you have children, and this is a dynamic I've seen so many times. So you grow up and you think, your parents did it wrong. They didn't come to all my basketball games or all my hockey game, and like they didn't listen to me all the time, and they didn't do all these things. So when I'm a grown up, when I have my own kids, I'm gonna be a lot better than my parents.
Yeah.
So now you overcompensate and you do everything for your kids.
Yep.
And then your husband wants to have sex. Get away from me! I lost myself. My boobs are not mine anymore. I'm nursing. I'm doing all these things. And I was like, this is the most challenging time in a relationship. So if you've been in this kind of situation, it's so important to understand, this is my definition of love. Love is wanting the best for your partner while respecting your needs. Love is wanting the best for your partner while respecting your needs. As a parent, love is wanting the best for your kids while respecting your needs. What is the drawback to your kids when you're constantly there doing everything for them?
They don't learn their own autonomy, their own independence. They might even get challenged in other ways if you're making things too simple and too easy for them.
Yeah. You don't help them develop courage. And to live a great life, you need courage. You need to be able to connect inside of yourself, and when it's needed of you, you need to be able to transcend what's happening to do the right thing. But a parent that thinks that they're being a better parent because they're overcompensating with the kids because of what they didn't get, it's compensation. That's not love. Or if you're divorced and now you feel guilty that you've divorced, and you're compensating for that by not being, having rules. Kids feel safer when they have rules and regulations. I have one of my friends... Structure, yeah. Because they feel safe within the structure. They don't feel like, my parents are not in charge, I need to take charge. One of my friends in Switzerland, he was like too soft with his kid, and his kids were unruly. And at one point he says, I had never realized that if I had started to do this earlier, the kids are happier, there's less stress in the household, they feel safer because I have done this with them.
The challenge of creating structure for them, but meanwhile it benefited the family.
Yeah, because kids need to feel that, they cannot rule the parents. When a kid feels that you can rule the parents, you create anarchy. It's not happy. And what's really interesting is I love asking this question to my clients who are parents. So they come to see me and they tell me how bad their parents were. They didn't do anything for them. So now they're doing everything for their kids, and they're much better parents in their time. And in the meantime, they can't stand their partner because they're giving everything to their kids. And I said, are your kids any happier than you were? And usually their jaw drops because their kids are miserable. They're not happy. They're not grateful. They take everything. If you want to be happy in life, you need gratitude. If you want to be happy in life, you need gratitude. So when you give everything to the kids, they just take everything for granted, and they are ungrateful and they're miserable. And then they do things like, computer addiction or drug addiction or sex addiction or whatever they do to try to numb themselves because they don't have a connection to the heart. Like, the only thing that lives in the heart is love, gratitude, inspiration, and wisdom. Love, gratitude, inspiration, and wisdom. So when you don't have gratitude, which is an easy one to instill in your kids by teaching them values of doing things for themselves. I was listening to a clip the other day where they've done studies, and it's been proven that kids who do chores at home are happier adults than kids who are not asked to do anything. So, in a nutshell, if you want to change the dynamics and you feel exhausted, you need to start asking yourself, what is love? So love is the wanting the best for them while respecting my needs. As a parent, I can teach that to my kids. I can empower my kids by helping them do chores and not overcompensating, because you don't want to lose your partner.
Yeah, so many women. I have so many women that actually say, "Oh, if we have sex once a month, it's fine." And that blows my mind, because I'm like, wow, this is the person that you've chosen.
Yeah.
And the intimacy is just not there.
Yeah.
It's very common.
It's very, very common. And
especially with kids.
Especially if the woman is exhausted, then yeah, you don't have it to have sex with your partner, but that's not fair. So the problem is not because something is wrong with you, but the problem is that you need to pay attention so you have enough energy within yourself so you can love your partner and be important to your partner and important to you. It goes both ways. So here we go. That was it for our little episode. If you enjoyed it, please like, subscribe, and share it with other people. And remember that love is safe, and if it's not safe, it's not love. Bye for now.
Bye.